You're watching Walking the Borderline. My name's Christina, and I decided to start this channel to create awareness around mental health, to end stigma against mental health and treatment and therapy, medications, you know, everything that people try to heal. From medications to meditation, or crystals to cognitive behavioral therapy, dialectical behavioral therapy, family therapy, marriage counseling, any type of therapy that you are in that or considering being in is worth it. It'll take some time to find someone that you trust and you feel comfortable opening up to and being brutally honest with, but you have to be brutally honest because that is the one unbiased person that has the training and the tools to be able to help not only help you figure out how to better express yourself, but how to also guide you in personal growth and development so that you can cope and manage with your disorder or disorders. Like in my case, I'll share a list. This is what is currently on my portal with my doctor. I have adjustment disorder with mixed anxiety and depressed mood, anxiety, positive depression screening, hypovitaminosis D, so basically my vitamin D is extremely low, which does, I'll do a video on that later, but it does affect your mood. If your vitamin D is low, or if you feel like you're depressed, you should have your vitamin D checked because it does affect your mood. It does affect your ability to function, especially if you already have a depressed disposition or disorder diagnosed. The rest of mine are bipolar, mine is hereditary. My half brother and my biological mother both have it. I also have ADD or ADHD, depending on who you talk to. And I know that that's a controversial diagnosis. That might be a video I do later on. But my most recent diagnosis is borderline personality disorder. And the more I learn about this disorder and the more that I go, oh, that's me. Oh, that's me. Oh, that's me. With the research that I'm doing, it's making me realize that, one, I went undiagnosed for a very long time, and that has affected my treatment. I've been in the wrong kind of therapies for what is affecting me. And I pick that word very carefully because I don't want to say what's wrong with me because there's nothing wrong with me. I'm just different. My brain is wired differently. I have mental health disorders, but I'm not defective. I'm not broken. It's just like somebody that has diabetes. They don't produce insulin properly. My brain is wired differently. It doesn't create the same responses that what is called a neurotypical brain would. If I were to have my brain scanned, it responds and lights up in different areas or in stronger ways than a neurotypical, which is a normal brain would. But there is nothing wrong with me. I mean, I know it's up for debate, but I am a human being that has different struggles that I deal with on a day in and day out basis. That doesn't mean that my life is ruined. It doesn't mean that I'm worthless. It doesn't mean that all of these things that my brain try to tell me when I'm in an episode are true. I'm not defective. I'm not a waste of space. I'm very glad that I was born, despite the fact that sometimes my brain will try and immediately tell me in an episode that I should have never been born. And see, these are just things that I have to deal with. And Panda, can you not do that on camera? Sorry guys, I have animals. But there's nothing wrong with me. There's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with your loved one that might have a mental health disorder. It's all in how we decide to cope with it. Currently, right now, the reason that I'm starting this channel is as a form of creative therapy for myself. I did speak about it briefly with my therapist. She felt that it would be a good decision to at least start trying it and maybe reviewing videos in therapy and talking about them. And that's helpful. But I'm deciding to go ahead and go do this because I do need a creative outlet. I'm a writer, but I've had writer's block on and off for the last year. A lot of it is the more depressed I get, the more creative I get as far as writing is concerned. I can't draw, I can't paint. I don't really have the skill set to build things, but I like doing something creative. And I also have gotten a lot of feedback from people close to me that say that I like to teach. So this is kind of a way to incorporate creative and teaching into the same kind of bubble. Walking the Borderline is going to be educational. It's going to have scientific information. It's also going to have personal opinions and experiences. And if I can be mindful enough, which would be hard, I think, maybe not, I don't know, but I might even try and film a couple of different kinds of episodes because I have anxiety. Those have its own episodes. The BPD has its own episodes. The bipolar, the depression, they have their own type of episodes. And what I am trying to do right now is discern the difference between those different aspects of breakdown. And I think that it's important to be able to show these things and communicate about these things because everybody knows someone that's struggling with some form of mental health. Whether it's your friend that, you know, they just broke up for the first time and they're in a serious depression, or your neighbor that just had a miscarriage. She could be going through something related to depression, or it could be exacerbating a previously existing condition. There's people that go through traumatic experiences when they lose a loved one. They get stuck in different stages of grief, and that's a mental health episode that needs addressed. Like, we suffer as a humanity. Part of humanity is suffering, and that is something that we shouldn't be afraid to talk about. This channel is going to be about that. It's going to be about the suffering. It's going to be about the hard work. It's going to be about, you know, how do we move forward? How do we heal? How do we cope? And I want this to be a safe place for everybody to be able to come and ask questions or make comments, or, you know, just to learn something that they didn't know previously about their own disorders or a friend's disorder or a loved one's, you know, anything. So I have to admit that I am very apprehensive about doing this because it puts everything out there. And people that know me in my own life, I'm very outgoing. I'm very, I'm loud. I'm obnoxious. I'm a joy to be around. But what a lot of people don't know is that I'm actually an introverted extrovert. And that sounds silly, but it's true. I struggle with being shy, feeling out of place, not wanting to open up to complete strangers. Well, hello. So, and I get very anxious and worried about what other people think about me. And it's not because I care on a deep level about what people think about me. It's part of my disorders in the back of my mind going, oh, they hate you. Oh, they're judging you. Oh, they think you're ugly. And these are things that I'm going to have to work on, or continue to work on. And you're going to be along for that journey if you decide to subscribe. And I look forward to any of your questions or your comments, your feedback. If there's a topic that you would like me to explore for you, you know, I am very open to anything and everything. So I hope you enjoy the ride, and I look forward to making videos for you guys in the future. Have a good night.